I'm sure some of you are wondering, dude, what's with the hair? In last week's video, it was a lot shorter and spikier. Well, that's what happens when you take like 4 weeks in between recording episode 2 and episode 3, but you post them a week apart. And in that 4 weeks, the lady who usually cuts your hair is out on maternity leave. So, yeah, I kind of just didn't record over that awkward in-between time where usually I just wear a hat to cover over my hair. So, might be able to skip that little bullet point that I made in episode 1. It could still happen. Hey y'all, Cornelius here, and this week's going to be a little bit different because instead of going over, a script that I have, I'm just going to kind of riff this because last night at work, an interesting discussion happened, and I'm really curious about what y'all's opinion is on it. Now, to give you an idea, last night relative to when I was recording this was National Sandwich Day. Which, if you're wondering why you're hearing about this on my channel and not on Ryan's, it's because it happened on a Saturday, and Ryan is deist. So the question started coming out when people started asking what counts as a sandwich, because there's an old question that I've seen online and we had in person at work, and the question is this a sandwich? No. I'm sure some of you are thinking, no, of course that's not a sandwich. This is not a sandwich. This is a sandwich. And this is a sandwich. And this is a sandwich. But this is not a sandwich. This is a hot dog. But why? After all a hot dog is a piece of meat in between pieces of bread. And all this BLT is contents between pieces of bread. Where do you draw the line? After going back and forth about what does and doesn't count as a sandwich for a little while, finally one of my coworkers decided to Google what the definition of a sandwich is. Apparently, according to Google, the definition of a sandwich is 2 pieces of bread with something in between them. Here's the problem. That means that a cheeseburger is a sandwich. A hot dog is not a sandwich, and neither is a sub. Now, the reason why I would contest this definition is because a sub is, saying a sub is short for a submarine sandwich. So, if we were to include subs, we then have to include hot dogs, because the same reason that subs would not be allowed is why hot dogs are not allowed. So, if 2 pieces of bread aren't required, then what other things are sandwiches? And this is where the conversation we had just completely derailed. Because if a hot dog is a sandwich, because a sub is a sandwich, then is a calzone a sandwich? Because a calzone is 1 piece of bread, just like you'd get with a sub or a hot dog, with contents in there. The difference is how you cook it. So you could make that argument, but at the same time, when you get down to it, you eat it like a sandwich, or at least I do, because I'm a sloppy mess of a human being. It kind of has the same general properties as a sandwich. One of my coworkers said that a calzone is not a sandwich, it's closer to ravioli, which raises the question, is ravioli a sandwich? Because if you look at ravioli, it is technically 2 pieces of a bread-like substance with something in between them. So does that mean that if you get, you go to like Olive Garden or something and you order ravioli, the menu could easily just say small Italian sandwiches in tomato sauce? Because if so, that is amazing. Olive Garden, update your menu. You're welcome. But getting more grounded in reality, the question then comes up of, I was talking with one of my friends at church this morning, because I'm recording this on a Sunday, and he said, when I was telling him about all this, he said, what about flatbread? Which, that's a very good question. A flatbread sandwich is, like a sandwich wrap, something like that. So that's one piece of bread. But then, go down further that road. If a sandwich wrap is a sandwich, then is a taco a sandwich? Because literally you take a taco and you just switch out your seasoned ground beef for cold cut turkey. It's now a sandwich wrap. So does that mean that a taco, or I guess more specifically a burrito, is a sandwich? Come on, if we're going to take this as far as we have, let's take it even further. Are mozzarella sticks a sandwich? Because you put breading on cheese. Is breading cheese. It's just as much of a sandwich as a grilled cheese. I mean, I've seen the meme about the Earth sandwich where, you have somebody in Australia and America put pieces of bread on the ground and you make an Earth sandwich. But, what other things? If you put 2 pieces of bread on either side of a car, is that now a car sandwich? If I were to walk up behind Abby with 2 pieces of bread, stick them on either side of her head, would she then be an Abby sandwich? And most importantly out of all of this, if I were to do that to Abby, would that Abby sandwich be more or less of a sandwich than the hot dog? Which is actually much closer to what we'd think of as a sandwich. Because you can actually eat it! The other thing that I thought of while thinking through all of this is there's such a thing as an open-faced sandwich. Now, if you don't know what an open-faced sandwich is, it's literally exactly what it sounds like. It's a sandwich that you don't close. So basically, it's a piece of bread with whatever sandwich ingredients you'd want on it. I've heard a horseshoe, which longtime viewers of this channel and friends of mine will know is a favorite dish of mine. I've heard that described as an open-faced sandwich, when really the more accurate description is a heart attack on a plate. With this in mind, there are all sorts of things that could be considered a sandwich. Technically, you could say a pizza is an open-faced sandwich. You know that stuff where you put like cheese on top of like this bread stuff and you cook it? Could that be considered an open-faced sandwich? It's just an open-faced grilled cheese. Why not? Look, I've dove down this rabbit hole. Dived. English language, you're stupid. Anyway, I've gone down this rabbit hole, and I gotta wonder what are some other things that count or don't count as sandwiches. I really want to know. Please, if you have an opinion on what does and doesn't count as a sandwich, let me know. Am I wrong that a hot dog is a sandwich? Is a taco a sandwich? Is a pizza a sandwich? There's a comment section. I have read every comment that has ever come on this channel, and I intend to keep doing that. So let me know, and if I think you're wrong, I will be sure to reply and say, no, that is definitely a sandwich. I don't care what you say. Or, if I think you're right, then cool. That sounds like an awesome sandwich. Let me know. I want to know your sandwich ideas. All right, thanks, y'all.